Welcome back to Access Anime. I'm Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough and review of Sword Art Online Episode 17. Now, if you remember from last episode, Kirito joins the video game ALO, and also we find out Yui is back, so I'm like ecstatic. His adopted daughter is back, and as a navigation pixie within the ALO game. Also, I should point out, Kirito has all of his stats now. Exactly, everything from Sword Art Online is now on ALO. His stats, rank. He had to get rid of a lot of his stuff though, because he had a lot of question marks, but he's back. He's back. One more time. Can I say one more time? He's back. I had to say it one more time. We're also seeing a new character by the name of Li Fei and Raccoon. Now, Raccoon was PK'd, so he was out automatically. Now, Li Fei is now on the ground being attacked by PKers. Now, we know nothing about Li Fei other than she's looks like a fairy. We don't know what, we know what race she is, but we just don't know what her specialty is right now. And Kirito crash lands in to save the day. And that's what we were waiting for. Hey, I'm looking at you. Yeah, I'm looking at you. That's what we were waiting for as a whole. For Kirito to get his mojo back, and it's back. But anyways, that was last episode, so let's just dive right into this episode. And again, I'll keep my comment and my rating at the end of this review and walkthrough, so definitely stay tuned. But let's dive right in, because I gotta get dirty, I gotta get into this. I'm just happy, I love watching this episode so much. But we open up this episode exactly where we left off. We see Kirito killing a PKer. One hit, that's all it took, sliced in half. Now, what's interesting is as soon as he did this, the other PKer kind of bugs out. And I wasn't expecting this. He was like very, reformed and very comfortable by saying, I've had enough, but thank you. Maybe next time, and he leaves. And then we're introduced to Li Fei and Kirito now, because now they have a whole confrontation, because Li Fei's not sure where Kirito stands. Are you gonna kill me? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, don't ever pull a knife, a sword, dagger, anything at Kirito. But, he was joking around, he was nice. And he's like, this is the part where, I get rewarded with, something, since you're the damsel in distress. I'm like, smooth. He was having fun with it. Now, at the same time, Yui is, again, she's a little navigation pixie pops up, and Li Fei looks at her. He's like, you have a private pixie? I was like, I have no idea what that means in this game, but I guess she doesn't know that's actually his adopted daughter. She assumes it's like a part of the system, I guess, like a pet or something. Now, Kirito learns how to fly. We do a small scene with Li Fei and Kirito. She teaches him how to fly without using that little remote. It's kind of interesting. So now he's like using his nerves. It's interesting how he learns how to fly, and it's funny. Now, they're flying, and again, I'll point this out one more time. It was funny. Watching him trying to fly was hilarious. Kid has no idea how to fly, and then now he's keeping up with Li Fei, because she's really fast, and she points out no one's ever been able to keep up with me at this speed. Now, this is where we're actually heading in the anime. The location is the Sylph territory, Sylvain, and it's January 20th, 2025. Now remember that date, because remember, Asuna is getting married January 26th, 2025. That's D-Day for her. So we've got about roughly 6 days right now. So this is day 1. So we just have to point that out. Now we see again Kirito and Li Fei heading to the Sylph territory, the Sylvan, and apparently Kirito can't land. Sure, you can fly, you can take off, but you can't land. So he ends up crashing and making a big scene. So it's kind of funny. Now, we also see Li Fei pointing out what Kirito's character's background is, because he's a Spriggan, but we don't know jack about what a Spriggan is. And apparently Spriggans are good at treasure hunting and illusion magic. And I don't really think that's Kirito's specialty. He's hand-to-hand, he's sword, he uses his sword. What was he going to use magic for? Illusion? Treasure hunting? Maybe. I can see that working out for him. But illusion magic? Now that's a twist. I can't wait to see where that goes. Also, we're in the Sylph Town. That's what it's actually called. The current location he's at, it's called Sylph Town. And it looks like, in my opinion, the Emerald City from Wizard of Oz. It's all green. Come on, be honest. It's so green. It's like green glass, kind of. So it looks like the Emerald City from Oz. Just putting that out there. Yeah, from the Wizard of Oz. Now we also see LeFay's friend that was PK'd, a raccoon. He shows up. Now he assumes they're going to go out for drinks or something like that. But LeFay turns him down only because she promised Kirito they'd go out for drinks. And that's where we were actually left with Raccoon. He's kind of sad there. Now we actually see LeFay and Kirito. They're in a bar, it looks like, and they're drinking. And, they're starting to talk more, getting to know each other. Now some little information about why those PKs were attacking LeFay kind of jumps out. Salamanders is one race, and the other race is called Sylphs. And apparently these two races do not get along in-game. So that's one of the many reasons why they were PKing LeFay in general, and attempting to PK Kirito, which didn't go well. Also, apparently in this game, in ALO, you can only fly 10 minutes at a time in the air before you have to land. So you have a time limit. So that's kind of interesting. And we also get to know something called the ALO Grand Quest. Now, it's basically this it's kind of interesting how I'm going to explain this, but in this game you have so many different races, and the point for the AOL Grand Quest is that one race has to reach the floating city atop the World Tree and hold an audience with the Fairy King, Oberon, and basically he will be your character will be reborn as an advanced class known as an elf. And apparently you can fly a lot longer as long as you want. So that's what happens when you finish the ALO Grand Quest. Because apparently Kirito, I should bring this up, he wants to go to that tree where he saw Asuna in that picture, like she was up top. And the only way to get there is he has to finish this Grand Quest. But apparently no one's been able to actually finish this quest. Mostly because they figure there has to be another mission or quest to get into that one. And Kirito comes up with a lot of great ideas. One being, well, what if you have to be partnered up with an opposite race in order to, head to the ALO Grand Quest, But then LeFay does bring up, well, that kind of doesn't make sense because one race would win while the other one would have to forfeit and not, win. Only one race can win, not two. So if one race helps you out, one race is not going to win. So the ends don't justify the means there. So she does kind of make a point, but she's getting to know Kirito more. It's kind of interesting. And then it snaps. The way Kirito is talking about Asuna, it gets to her. It's like either she knows who this person is, or she feels sorry about Kirito in general. And she wants to help him. Before Kirito leaves, she's like, I'll help you. Let's do it. So now she's part of his group. And before she leaves, she says, meet me tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. at the So that's kind of interesting. So they're going to do it tomorrow at 3:30. Kind of nice. Now, apparently, we see LeFay log off. And the moment she logs off, beforehand, I already knew who this character was, just to be honest. I had a heads up on who this character was, and it was obvious. It's Kirito's cousin. Yeah, LeFay is Kirito's cousin. Interesting. And then she's thinking about this, and it looks like she's in her underwear or shorts while she's online playing, and she logs off, and her face turns red, and she's like, she can't. I think she knows it's Kirito, but again, she says something else, but I think she has a good idea of who this person is, or at least she feels that it resembles her cousin. And again, they're not brother and sister, they're cousins, just pointing that out. And again, she does look very cute, offline and online, but mostly offline though. She does look a lot cute. We do another cutscene, but this one's really emotional, and I love this. This is what gave me plus in this episode. We see Yui and Kirito. It looks like they're in an apartment or a hotel, and Kirito's, he's getting ready to log off, but he doesn't want to at the same time because he's with his daughter. And she's like, well, before you log off, this is what Yui's saying. Mind if I cuddle with you, sleep right next to you until you log off? And while they're doing that, while she's cuddling with her dad, he's keeping her warm, she's keeping him warm, he starts to promise Yui something. She's like, we're going to get your mom back. We're going to get Asuna back. And we're going to get a house. We're going to get another house. This is going to happen. I was like, he's putting his foot down. He's telling like it is. He's comforting his daughter. That's what I wanted to hear. He's definitely, even as a young man, and this is not even his real daughter, just in-game daughter. Wow. That's what fathers are made out of. But again, I love that part. But moving on to the next scene, we see, now this is what got me a little more motivated beyond seeing Yui and Kirito together. We see Asuna. Now obviously she looks a little different because we're now in ALO, not Sword Art Online. We're now in ALO. And in ALO she's she's a fairy as well, and wow, she does look amazing as usual. Can't help it, she does look amazing. And she's being kept in a bird cage, which I thought was kind of weird. And she's being called Titania. Yeah, that's not her name, but we hear a guy named the Systems Administrator. Now, again, it's Sigyu. Yeah, the guy that's going to marry her on January 26th. He's the Systems Administrator for ALO. Oh my god, seriously? Yeah, I kind of saw this coming, but I was hoping it wasn't going to be like that. And he's also the Fairy King Oberon. I'm like, ooh, so how's this going to work out in this series? So in order for Kirito to get Asuna back, he's got to finish the grand quest to see King Oberon. Somehow I'm not seeing this add up right. This final confrontation is going to be messed up. So I hope Kirito pulls something out of his ass to win in general, since he is a cheater in this game and not a beater in general, because he had his stats and everything from his previous game pulled over to this one. So I hope he's got something to pull the wool over Sigue's eyes, Now we see Sigue go on to say he's also the ruler of ALO, and that apparently Asuna, which is now Titania, is the queen, his queen in this game. And he's actually keeping her inside this game. We find out he's aware of her being in this game. He's the one keeping her in this game. He's also using players as test subjects. Yeah, he's grabbing players when they log off. He's got 300 test subjects, and it's for the past 2 months this is what he's been doing. It's like he's taken everything from Sword Art Online and put it into this game. He's got his own private group working separate from the company, from Asuna's father's company. Like, they have a little private group to working on this project, and eventually, after he marries Asuna, he's going to try selling this game, or his technology, to an American company. Wow, I thought this guy couldn't get any lower. Now, he's definitely hit rock bottom. In fact, he's hit a black hole. Now, again, his technology that we find out, it's technology to implant new objects into human memories. That's his basic technology. Now, we end this episode seeing Asuna say, "Save me, Kirito," as soon as Sigue leaves her in the birdcage. Now, it's kind of interesting. Now, he can implant memories to anyone's mind, so he's toying with Asuna, but he doesn't want to erase any memories and stuff. He wants her how she is, just so he can get off on her reactions and junk, so it's kind of sick. Now, when we see him trying to leave the birdcage, there's like a little access pad. He types in a password, but it's blurred out. Asuna can't see anything, so I'm guessing this is a safeguard he implanted in her so she can't get out of the cage. And again, the last thing we hear Asuna saying is, "Save me." Now, that ends it for the episode. Now, for my final thoughts, I want to see Kirito kick some butt. I want to see him finish the grand quest so he can kick Sigue's butt. I also am interested to know Lefei, aka Kirito's cousin. I want to see if she's going to figure out the connection between, is her cousin. She's playing with Kirito, her cousin. So does she already know? I want to know what's her reaction. Is she playing to actually save Asuna, or is she playing to do more, like get closer to Kirito? I mean, it looks like there might have been a possible romantic connection, even though it's kind of sick to say. I know it sounds like incest, but they're not brother and sister, they're cousins. And she is pretty close to her cousin. So I'm just curious, does she like him beyond what a cousin's relationship is? Or is it just she really wants to see Kirito happy and she wants to see Asuna at the same time just to see what her competition is? So a lot of things, a lot of things unanswered. My biggest one is I want to see those PKers that Kirito is fighting. You get to see them again. And does Kirito get to kick some more butt in general? Is he going to become a PKer in this game? But that is it for my final thoughts. Now for rating wise, I was going to give this a 3.5 out of 5, but I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because there's a good amount of emotion and we get to see Asuna. And we got to see a little battle scene, but it was kind of cheap. But it's Sword Art Online. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 just because I could see some really good emotional parts in this episode. So again, 4 out of 5. That's my final rating. And that ends it for my review and walkthrough of Sword Art Online episode 17. Now I've got one more walkthrough and review today to do, so definitely stay tuned. But again, that ends it for today. And I gotta hit the bricks, guys. Before I go, I gotta say it. Can't stop the access. But you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.